RaMell Ross's Nickel Boys unearths the haunting realities of two boys, Elwood, Ethan Harris, and Turner, Brandon Wilson, as they navigate a brutal reform school, blending visceral storytelling with an experimental approach. In adapting Colson Whitehead's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, production designer Nora Mendes explains Ross' vision came from a conceptual place. She says, "It was more about looking at contemporary artists, photos, content, and what the justice system means throughout history." Mendes adds, "Our conversations were based in a higher space of art, and he would trust us to go and do what we would do." Throughout the film, which is now in theaters, Ross uses archival footage to juxtapose Elwood and Turner's abusive experience at Nickel Academy, which subs in for the real Dozier School for Boys in Florida, where more than 100 students died from abuse. With the social and technological advances of the 60s, like the civil rights movement and the space race, he tells the story, though, through a first-person point of view. Point of view was a term we dropped. What was wanted to build was called a sentient image, cinematographer Jomo Frey explains. "We wanted an image that felt like it was connected to a real person in a present-tense fashion and was tied to a real body, a real consciousness, moving through space." Ultimately, Ross wanted an aspect of immersion for the audience to experience what the two boys Elwood and Turner were going through. As Ross and Frey were shot-listing, Frey pulled out a small DSLR to do some camera tests to see how this world would look. Here Frey and Mendes discuss how they helped deliver Ross' vision for Nickel Boys. The film is set in 1960s Florida, but the film was shot in Louisiana. Nora, how did you begin to build this world? Nora Mendes, we filmed mostly around New Orleans. I'm such a research nerd, so there was a lot of pulling references and figuring out what Florida in the 1960s looked like. Louisiana and Florida are not so far apart in terms of look necessarily, but it's the period and making it feel correct to the time. I felt like spaces tell stories. So in Hattie's house, where she's raising her grandson, tells a story about her morals and ethics. That's all reflected in how her house and kitchen are set up. My grandma is 99 years old, and I sent her a picture of Hattie's kitchen, and I said, "Does this look right?" And she said, "The JFK calendar was perfect, but the phone was for rich people, switch that." So it was little details like that